Good morning!
Sound of our teen sports listeners, I'm your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome, Teen Sports Radio listeners. Well, I'm excited. Guess who's back in the house? Karla with our Money Matters. How you doing, Karla?
Good. Happy to be here. Hope everyone's doing great.
I know you've been, you switched jobs. You had to take a bunch of tests because now you're going to be, everybody's best lender, okay, in the county. So we're going to go your way. If you need money, you got to go to Karla. But as far as our kids are concerned, what are the new things that are going on?
Well, I found on a great website on Investopia where you could pretend to invest. And it's like actually live, like you're on the stock market, but you're not really betting money. Kind of fun.
That is awesome. I remember doing that with my dad on the Times. We'd have these fake portfolios that we would mock up. This was like in 7th and 8th grade. It's kind of a fun little family project, actually.
Can you believe that?
To get your...
We used to go to the newspaper for all the stock news.
Exactly, right? I know, people make it, that's true, right? Oh, man, I just aged myself out for sure. So today we've got Alex Ramírez, Dominique Hackett, Barbara Doux in the house. How you doing, Barbara?
I'm great. Thank you so much.
Of course. So I'm excited because there's going to be a lot of great guests here coming. I'm not going to talk about it right now because I haven't really inked it, but there's going to be a lot in the next 2-3 months. We're going to have some amazing, I don't want to call them celebrities, but, definitely people that are going to be great mentors to our teen and teen athlete community, because that's what this show really has done over the last 15 years is provide that insight so kids can navigate in today's world. And Alex Ramírez, you know all about that. You've been dealing with kids your whole life. Talk to me. What are you going to talk about today?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about the gym etiquette and a starter weight trainer program for, anyone who's teens specifically. But this would apply to adults as well. But a beginner workout program and more important, gym etiquette.
I got to tell you a funny story. I don't know what I was doing wrong. So about, 6 months ago, it absolutely shattered me. 6 months ago, I walk in, because one of those free pass deals. And I walk into the gym and I don't know what happened, but I was just doing my little thing. Alex, I've worked with you. I know the basics, and I didn't do anything wrong. I wiped everything down. I did very light weights. I haven't lifted anything, maybe a bag of groceries, in the last 6 months. So I was doing short little reps, 3 sets of 10, not 10 pounds, but just, a rep of 10. This guy, older guy, was just staring at me, looking at me. It was so frustrating. It just weirded me out. Okay. So I get my water and I move to another station because, that's what you would do. The guy, all of a sudden I look up there. He is again, like staring at me. And I'm like, oh, come on, I can't do this. So anyway, I'm leaving. And then, I'm a little frustrated. And, I guess they could tell that something's not right. So this gentleman that I spoke to kind of pointed him out. Well, he's on the spectrum. Okay. You know what I mean? So it wasn't me, but man, thank God, I asked. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but still, we didn't have to worry about any of that. There was no spectrum when I grew up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now there's all that kind of stuff you have to do. So you got to use your communication skills because, staring is like at a gym, fixating yourself on somebody. It's that's a no-no. You just don't do that.
Absolutely.
That's
especially when it's a male, posing sex, or even if it's the same sex. Yeah, but you definitely staring is rude. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Staring
and then
is rude.
Following and stalking and staring. Of course, it's me, right? I know.
Yeah, especially if it's every exercise you do, and he's kind of staring at every stage.
Yeah, and then I'm afraid, something's gonna happen. Am I gonna hiccup or something? You know what I mean? Because now I feel like I'm on a stage, and I'm just trying to do some simple. I want to get my heart rate up, for 20 minutes, and I want to leave, and then see if I wanted to join the members. So anyway, I haven't walked back since. I just wanted to share that. Dominique, help me.
Yeah. So now the words we can use, we're going to get into this with Alex in the next segment, but the words we can use when describing someone who's processing information differently than us, we can say neurodivergent, meaning they're neurology of how they're processing information is different than how most people are. And that's just a kind way of saying, oh, it's like neurodivergent activity going on.
Okay, first of all, everybody raise your hand. Is that the first time you've ever heard of that word? Because I've never heard. Really? Okay, good. Karla, Alex, Barbara, everybody. No, Dominique, I don't
New term.
Huh?
New vocabulary.
Jeez, Louise.
Neurodivergent.
That's crazy stuff. But yeah, so anyway, we're going to be looking forward to a lot of good things here coming up. Summer's here. The sun is out. Everything's good. I feel a huge shift in energy. I'm so looking forward to it. So let's get to it. All right. We're going to embrace our local community with some advertising, and then we are going to get on it. All right. Let's get to it right after these messages.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
We're back.
Hey.
Yeah, Erica and Dominique is going. We had to do a little bit of a lateral. We saw Melissa, her video turned off, so probably took a call or maybe had a bee emergency.
Yes, indeed.
But luckily, we have in the house Dominique. Dominique is a master gardener, and we have some notes. So we're going to continue because they say for last week, the show must go on.
Yes.
And it's going to go on. And we've got Dominique Hackett with Santa Barbara Wellness. And she's going to take over. Let's talk about the native bees.
Yes. So last week, we talked a little bit about that our bees population is going down. Mm-hmm. And so the last question was, hey, what about the native bees, right? So let's dive in. Our local native bees, we have mason bees and bumblebees, right? Well, the mason bees and the bumblebees, yeah, they're hurting too. But they're hurting for a slightly different reason than the honeybees. Some combined and some different. But let's first talk about how are the mason bees and bumblebees different from the honeybees? So honeybees are social. They live 1,000 in a hive. Wow. And they were basically imported from Europe. Mm. The bumblebees are native. They're fluffy. I see a lot of black bumblebees. Mm. They buzz really loud. They kind of like big.
They're the ones that your mother runs from.
And they have a few hundred per nest, and they're native to the U.S. You don't usually go to a bumblebee to get honey. They're a pollinator. And then we have the mason bees. The mason bees are really interesting. They are tinier. They're kind of shiny. They're super chill. They're solo moms, and they're amazing pollinators. They're native and way less likely to sting. So mason bees are the introverts of the bee world. They just want to hang out and do their job, which is pollinate your garden and bounce. No drama, no hive politics, right? So why do we call them mason bees? Do you know?
No, I do not.
Okay. So when you think mason, you think of, cement building, right?
Right.
So that's what the mason bee does. It's a mama, and she takes the mud and she works like a bricklayer, and she seals up a chamber inside of a little tube. And sometimes you'll see little bee hotels. Those bee hotels are for the mason bees, for our native bees. And wow, it's like architecture and science and maternal instinct all rolled up into one. And this mama bee does it all without a crew. Meanwhile, the male mason bee, the males, they hatch first and they hang out near the tunnel, and then they mate with the female mason bees, and then that's it, right? Show's over. And the ladies carry it on. So most of the times that you see a pollinator in the garden, mm-hmm. it's either a honeybee worker dude or it's a mama mason bee.
Neat.
So these mason bees, they
they do well because of the whole pesticide thing.
Yeah,
right? So
exactly.
Because if they're the pollinators,
they can pollinate 10 times more effectively than honeybees. Can you imagine that? One mason bee can pollinate 100 more flowers than a honeybee.
Wow.
So we really need to support our bees, and in particular, our native bees. Right. So teens, what can you do, right? Number one, plant a bee buffet. You can sprinkle wildflower seeds right now. Choose any native mix. How about poppies or lupin. You see the poppies and the lupin. The poppies are orange and the lupin are kind of purple and blue. Daisies. There's all sorts of native flower mixes that you can get, and just throw it out there while you're taking a walk. Throw it out there. We need these little bee buffets, because what's happening is the bees they've got a great place to be, and then they go to fly someplace else, and all of a sudden they're in a desert, and there's no water and there's no food, and then they die.
Shopping center.
Wow. Shopping center's a bee desert. Exactly. Kind of scary.
Yeah, it is.
A freeway, bee desert.
I know.
So we need to care for these guys by making little bee buffets so that they can go from one place to another and be okay. Right. So you can also make a bee hotel. And what that is chunks of wood, and they like drilled holes, right? They're masons. So sometimes you can even see them $10 on Amazon, and they just call them little bee hotels. They're really cute. So you can put those all around your house and stuff, especially around your garden. Yes. I have.
And then bee fountains too.
Exactly. Put out little spots where bees can come to have a drink of water. So here's the thing. You got to ditch the chemicals. You have to talk to your parents' teens. You have to talk to the gardeners and just tell them, hey, when you're using Roundup and you're using, maybe for a big lawn, you're trying to kill the broadleaf or something, you're killing the bees.
Quick question. This is from Alex. He had to step out here, but he did text in a question here. And his question is, he actually has bees flying around his gym. He has a home-based gym, personal trainer. So Fit for Life 805. So what can you do naturally to
kind of repel the bees?
Yeah, in a natural way.
Great question.
Thank you.
So
thank you, Alex.
The native bees actually don't really like the citrus oil. So if you get a bottle of water and you add like 10 drops of either lemon or orange citrus oil, and you spray it around the area where people are, you're going to have less bees. They also don't like cinnamon. So there are natural bee repellents, right? And they don't like reflections. So if you hang up reflective things around your entrance, they're not going to come around and try to, come into your gym.
Nice. Well done. Who's next?
Up next, Sky. He's going to talk about another stage of healing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Sky's up next, right after these messages. We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio, everyone. This is Sky Ellsworth, and I'm a student at Life Chiropractic College West, and we are continuing on this awesome journey of going through the 12 stages of healing as created by Donnie Epstein of Network Spinal Chiropractic and the Epienergetics Foundation. And I strongly suggest, before diving into this one, if you haven't already, to go back and listen to previous recordings. I know they can be found on SoundCloud, Spreaker, and a couple other platforms. Really amazing to go through and listen to them, but really important to go through them in order, because the previous stages help to build a foundation for where we're headed. And today we're going to be tackling stage 6, and it is really important to have that strong foundation built in the season of Discover, where we have stages 1, 2, and 3, and then moving into stages 4, 5, 6, and 7 that are all about transformation. If we don't have that foundation in Discover, in this stage and the next one, we can start to see some reactions that aren't necessarily favorable. In this particular case, oftentimes in stage 6, we're building energy. We're building energy and we're holding on to it. If we don't have a strong foundation, that amount of energy can be a little bit too much for our body to handle, and we can purge it all out. Vomiting is not ideal, but sometimes it can happen, so make sure that you're really kind of working your way up. So that's the disclaimer for this particular stage. Now, stage 6 is all about preparation for resolution, meaning that we've spent all of this time identifying where we are in Discover, accepting that this is what we're dealing with right now, and that's okay. Sometimes things are different. Sometimes things are good. Sometimes they aren't good. Sometimes I really feel into this situation, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel just so stuck where I am, right? So we've started to kind of build more and more energy with each stage. And that was all discover. And then we started to move into transform, where we started to feel like there's more. We started to feel like enough. I'm sick of being stuck. I'm done with this, right? A little bit more energy than being stuck. And then we started to move into stage 5, which was the idea of separating, merging with the illusion, separating from the parts of ourselves that are true and that we want to be versus the part of ourselves that aren't true and who we don't want to be. Now in stage 7, we're preparing for resolution. We're preparing to create this new version of ourselves that no longer has those old patterns that we don't want. We're starting to decide, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, like in stage 5, but now I'm really taking that on as a part of who I am. The energy that's built in this stage, in stage 6, is the energy that keeps this pattern progressively moving forward and not repeating. If we build this energy before we have that foundation, we'll drop back and we'll start cycling through all over again. So again, it's really important to go step by step, revisit those previous stages, and really work your way up to this. So in stage 6, we're about holding on to the energy that we've built, cultivating it, really preparing for resolution with this energy that we've built, which gives us enough energy for stage 7, which will be next week, which is more about discharging that energy into being, right? It's like collectively building the energy for manifestation and then discharging it to collapse into reality. So the exercise for this, to really align ourselves with the energy of building energy, holding on to energy, and having that stable within our systems, the exercise that we're going to do involves lying on your back, similar as for how we did it for stage 5. In stage 5, we had our knees up and our hands up, and we were on our backs, and we were making like wish-washy motions side to side. We were kind of synchronizing that rhythm with our breath. We were sweeping aside the veil, sweeping aside the illusion, and identifying who we are. And we worked with positions in some of the earlier stages across the front of our body. So you're going to take that position that we've worked with before, that position that maybe felt a little stuck at one point, that position that we were holding on to when we did the nose-nose breathing, when we said that now we're enough of this, right? We're ready for more. And we're going to find that position, and you're going to start out from your body. And again, you're going to be lying on your back, and you're going to hold your arms up, and you're going to start to move your hands and your arms collectively together in a circular motion. And then slowly you're going to bring your hands onto that area that felt really stuck before, that we identified from the previous exercises, and you're going to continue that swirling motion. Doesn't matter if it's clockwise or counterclockwise. If it's in the areas of digestion, you're probably going to walk clockwise, so you don't end up backing yourself up. And as you're doing that, you're going to be breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. So this is nose-nose breathing, because we're really building energy. And you're going to take one leg and you're going to cross it over the other. And the reason that we're doing this is so we can use our adductor muscles on the inside of our thighs to squeeze our legs together. We want to squeeze the energy, squeeze our core, keep everything really tight as we're moving our hands back and forth. And you're going to be breathing very quickly, nose-nose, very similar to what we're doing in the previous exercise. And you're going to feel the energy building in that area as you do that. So you're going to feel your core tensed up. You're going to feel the energy move up your legs from that tightening sensation where you're squeezing your legs together. You're going to feel it move into that area where you're swirling your hands around in a circular motion, clockwise or counterclockwise. Probably clockwise is best. And you're going to be feeling the energy of, I'm so ready for more. I'm ready for more. I'm meant for more. I deserve more. And you can even say that out loud. And then once you feel like that energy is built and it can't build anymore, you're going to uncross your legs and just lie on your back with your hands down by your side. And you're just going to let that energy just sit there and just be with it. And that is stage 6.
Wow.
So you like tighten everything and you're doing the swirly motion, and then you tighten and you hold, and then at the end you release.
It's not so much releasing. You're letting go of your legs being crossed, and you're lying there with your hands down by your side, and you're just feeling all of that energy that you've cultivated just being inside of you without it releasing or going.
Okay. So it's accumulating energy and then feeling that energy in your body.
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
That's so cool. That is so cool. And so what's next week's name?
So next week is all about the discharging of the energy. So next week is really
let it out.
Letting it out. Yeah.
Let it out.
There you go.
That's what I need.
Very appropriate.
It is, right? I want to need to let it out next week for sure. How do we get a hold of you?
You can email me at thrivehivechiropractic@gmail.com.
Thank you so much, Richard. See you next week.
Thank you.
We adore you.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hi, Teen Sports Radio listeners. My name is Alex. I am a personal trainer and health coach with Fit for Life 805. And in today's segment, we're talking about teen muscle and, of course, gym etiquette. We touched up on that real quick with Erica's story. And, real quick, Erica, on that note, you did the right thing by going to someone and talking about the situation, because it can be uncomfortable for people if you do stare. So don't be afraid to go to the reception and let people know what's going on, because that can be awkward for sure. But the basic gym etiquette, if you are in a beginner program, have a plan. You're going to the gym, you're starting a beginner training program, you're going to lift some weights, it's your first time doing it, have a plan and follow that plan. And I'm going to set you up with that plan as well. Wiping down the machine. Sometimes you notice that it's a little wet and sweaty. If you see that, you got to look for it, but you don't want to sit in that, lay in that, wipe it down first, clean it off, and then you do it yourself when you're done. It's kind of like what Dominique's going to talk about with her compassionate action. You're paying it forward. It's karma. You're setting it up for the next person, because the gym is like your church. This is where you're going to go to change your body, to get physically strong. You're going to change your mindset. So share the love with everyone and clean up your station. The next thing, now, this is the thing that bugs me the most. When you get to the dumbbells, do not work out in front of the weight rack. Do not lift your bicep curls right in front of the dumbbell rack, right in front of where people are walking.
Oh my God, I do that all the time.
Go get out of there. Get your weights, go to your station. Yeah, get your weights, go to your station and lift, and then come back. It's okay.
Never thought about that.
Yeah, because here's the problem and the challenge is say you're doing that and I already have weights in my hands and I'm lifting kind of heavy and I'm done. I'm tired. But I also want to put the weights back and get the new set of weights. If you're there, I have to wait till you move.
I never thought about that.
Or I get up and I kind of passive aggressively get next to you and say, "Excuse me, ma'am," and then I just go right in there. I like to wait. Sometimes I'll move if they're just there for a long time, but I'll kind of tell them, "Hey, excuse me." So yeah, that's one of my pet peeves. And so don't worry if you do it. Now it's all good. Just grab your weights, get your extra steps in, tighten up your core. It's kind of like doing a farmer's carry. Think about a little ab workout in between, and then move on. And then moving. So from there, when you're getting to your machines, and now we're going to get into it. The question.
No.
Oh, I saw that.
Good. No, but I have a story on that. I can tell you why you don't want to be too close to other people with weights. My son lost part of his finger off of somebody's where he was.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and he lost the tip of his finger, and I'm like, okay, this is why I don't work out. I'm just kidding.
No!
So that can happen. Yes, if you're lifting heavy and you're putting weights back in a weight rack, dumbbell rack, that's kind of sketchy and they're very sharp edges. It's all metal. That weight right there. It will perfect scissor is what it is. So be careful. Absolutely. But teens, I am starting you off. Here's now the meat and potatoes of it. The weight room, there's a specific area where all these machines are with cables and plates and all that stuff. That's where you're going to be. And there's etiquette to that area. You want to, of course, watch out for other people who are working there, and don't use or force people off of a machine. Wait till they're done and then get on there. Focus on your plan. Choose a machine. Start with a lightweight. Get a feel for the exercise and then progress. You don't want to create a mini circuit where you're trying to use multiple machines within your circuit, and then all of a sudden people are trying to sneak in around you. Get one machine, stick to it, and then move on. And so I'm going to give you a little extra. Your workout plan, very basic, very beginner. Workout plan is a push-pull, full body plan. 4 weeks, easy enough. You can start with all the seated machines, and that's what I recommend. These machines will have cables and pins, plates. That's where you're going to start. It's very simple. Full body, chest press, seated rows, lat pull down, shoulder press, leg extension, leg curls. My favorite, planks. You got to work on your core. 3 to 4 sets, 10 to 12 reps.
I love it.
Now these machines, go ahead.
Those planks are major.
Absolutely. That's going to be the best core move for you. That's safest for your spine. That'll help build your shoulder strength, your leg strength, and without putting you in a position where you're going to get hurt. The thing with these machines, and what's great about these machines, is they all have instructions on there. They should have a diagram. They should have instructions. Read them. Follow those instructions. Go along with it. 10 to 12 reps, 3 to 4 sets. If you don't know what sets and reps are, there are 10 to 12 repetitions within a given set. So you're doing a chest press 10 to 12 times. That's one set. You take a break for 60 seconds. Do it again 10 to 12 times. That is set number 2. Rest again for another 60 seconds. Do it again for a third time. That's set 3. So those are basic beginner stats for you guys. Very, easy to get started because you're building a foundation for your body, for your strength. You're learning how to use specific muscles in a specific way. And that will help you transition into the dumbbells, into body weight exercises like push-ups and pull-ups, Bulgarian lunges, things that are really, really good for the body as a teen, especially if you're looking into getting stronger for your sport. So yeah, working with the single leg strength and body weight exercise is going to be key moving forward. So I love it. Any questions?
Barbara, do you curl, baby?
Adults.
Yeah, so I'm at the club in Ojai, and I mainly go to the jacuzzi. But
that's because she's single. Barbara, you're single, right?
Yes. Why?
That's right. So she goes to the jacuzzi at the gym. Brilliant.
But I joined like a couple of years ago, and what I loved, it's you had like a trainer to show you all around, and I did exactly this exercise that you just mentioned and the rep, and so it was great to at least have someone to show me around at the beginning. And I still prefer to go to the jacuzzi, but recently I really, because I was just like, okay, am I wasting my money to just go to the jacuzzi? And no, it's just like, I need that. But I still wanted to stay there also to kind of prep my mindset, because I believe that when you want to do something like that, mindset is the first thing to have.
Absolutely.
And I've been actually since last week being at the club like 3 or 4 times a week, and I was just like, what's going on? And I go work there. I do editing. I do edit my pictures over there, and then I take a break and I go to punch or stuff like that because I have a background in martial arts. So I was just like, oh, I can actually go at the space and be in an environment that emphasize my desire to actually, okay, I go to the jacuzzi and then I go back working and then I go back to punch a bit. So yeah, it was fun to get back into that kind of rhythm.
That's great. I mean, something kids can apply the same principles. That's great because instead of like scrolling on your phone, right? I would love that. I think that is a great idea just to wrap around, first maybe the steam room or the infrared. I mean, all these gyms now are really updating the technology. Is that true, Alex?
Absolutely, yes. And the one thing I didn't emphasize is if you can, like Barbara did, if you can get a trainer to show you around and definitely give you a perfect tutorial, that's the ideal way to go. And then you can go from there. But yeah, the gyms really set you up nice. I wouldn't recommend the cold therapy right away. That can be shocking to the system. I would do it on your off days. There isn't a whole lot of evidence that fully supports the cold water plunge yet. So be careful with all that. If you're looking for strength gains and muscle mass, it could be doing you a disservice when you train, like when you lift. So if it's an off day and it's a healing recovery day, that might be the most beneficial time to do a cold plunge. But a jacuzzi after training is also a great way to cool down and get those muscles to fully relax.
And then the hydrate, right? Water.
Water. Oh my God. Like it's going out of style. It is your gasoline, it's water is your gasoline. It fuels your entire body. So stick to water. Yeah. Protein shake.
Can I ask Alex on the water, do you recommend the alkaline water or with electrolytes or any water is just fine?
I mean, it depends on what your preference is. If we're talking about teens, they're just kind of doing what's available to them. If the parents have that good, clean alkaline water, sure, great. If it's available, if you have access to those things, go for it. Otherwise, filtered, clean alkaline water, yes. Amino acids, electrolytes, you can take those during training. Yeah, if you want to get into creatine, you can also take that. There's quite a few things you can do. But it just depends on personal preference, your goals, and what you're trying to achieve, as far as strength gains.
That's great. How do we get a hold of you, Alex?
You reach out to me, 805-896-7514. That's the easiest way.
Dominique, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Woo! We got Dominique Hackett right after these messages.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
All right, Teen Sports Radio family. Today, we're going to talk about something that will elevate your game, your friendships, your family, and your future. It's called compassionate action. And let me tell you, this is one of the most powerful plays you can run in life. We talk a lot about free will, about how you have the power to choose the direction of your life. But did you know that every time you choose kindness, encouragement, or support, you're not just helping yourself, you're becoming a lighthouse for others to do the same. Yep, your actions don't just affect you. They ripple out and inspire everyone around you. And when people start choosing compassionate action, the entire world starts to shift. So what is compassionate action? Compassionate action isn't just being nice. It's a way, way deeper than that. It means choosing to act in a way that helps, supports, or uplifts others, even when it's not the easiest option. It's cheering for your teammate, even when you're both competing for the same starting spot. It's helping a classmate who's struggling instead of thinking, not my problem. It's taking on, taking a deep breath and listening instead of snapping back in an argument with your parents. It's standing up for someone who you can tell is being left out or is being bullied instead of pretending you don't see it. Every time you choose to act with kindness, you are leading by example. And just like a lighthouse, people around you see that light and follow it. Now, how does this help you in sports? You might be thinking, okay, cool, but how does this actually help me win? Well, let me break it down. Number one, the strongest teams are built on trust. If you want to be a champion, your team needs more than just skill. It needs chemistry. And chemistry doesn't come from talent. It actually comes from trust. And trust is built when teammates support each other, even when things aren't going well. So when you're at practice, be the teammate who's going to bring people up, not down. Encourage the new player. Help someone else struggling with a drill. Bring the energy. That's how you create a team that wins together. Number two, pressure becomes easier to handle. Sports is stressful. Big games, high expectations, competition, it's a lot. But when your team has a culture of kindness and support, that pressure becomes fuel instead of fear. You know your teammates have your back. You play, even though you might be losing, right? You play smarter. You play harder. You take smarter risks. And that confidence is what wins championships. So, how does it help in school? Listen, school isn't just about getting grades. It's about learning how to succeed in life. And life is a team sport, okay? If you help others understand a lesson, you learn it better yourself. If you collaborate instead of compete, your school projects will be smoother and more creative. If you trust your teachers and your classmates, if you treat them with respect, you build connections that can help you way beyond high school. Compassionate action turns classrooms into teams, and teams get things done. How does it help in friendships and family? All right, real talk. Relationships, whether it's friends, family, teammates, can be rough. People get frustrated. They say things they don't mean. Drama happens. But here's your secret weapon. Compassionate action stops the negativity before it spreads. How about instead of firing back in an argument, pause and try to understand where they're coming from. Instead of judging someone, ask yourself how you might be able to support them. Instead of just saying, I'm here for you, how about actually showing up? When you do this, you train the people around you to do the same. They start treating you with more kindness and respect and patience, and suddenly the whole world feels lighter. Why this matters more than ever. Look, we live in a world where negativity spreads fast. Social media, drama, bad news, stress everywhere. But here's the thing. Positivity spreads too. Every time you choose compassion, you are sending out a signal. People see it, they feel it, and they are more likely to do the same. And that's when there's enough people that are choosing kindness over ego, encouragement over competition, connection over division. We don't just change our own lives, we change the world. Final thought, be the lighthouse. You have free will every day, every moment. You get to choose what you want to be. So choose to be the person who lifts others up. Choose to be the teammate, the trend, the family member who makes life better, not harder. Because when you do, you become the lighthouse. You help others find their way. And you create a life filled with success, joy, and people who truly have your back. And trust me, you got this. This is Dominique Hackett with Santa Barbara Wellness Center, reminding you compassion isn't just kindness. It's a power. Now go shine that light.
Wow, Dominique, thank you so much. That's a wrap on this week's Teen Sports Radio, where hearts meet hustle. Huge thanks to Melissa reminding us to protect the bees. Sky, did you like Skies, Dominique?
Oh my gosh, stage 6. Bringing it all in. Bring
it in, baby. Bring it in. And of course, Alex with those gym etiquette tips. Thank you, Alex.
Good morning. You're welcome, of course. Happy to help. Happy to help.
Thank you. And Dominique, your compassionate action was just really, I'm still thinking about it right now. It was wonderful. Thank you. We're so proud to be able to broadcast on AM, FM, KZSB, the station that talks about Santa Barbara. And of course, we're streaming across Acast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spreaker, Substack, Locals, and very soon, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be on Rumble. And of course, my biggest thank you is to Jeremiah Ferris, Eternity Ready Radio, which airs us 7 days a week in the Midwest. We've been together for now over 5 years, and he's been sharing Teen Sports Radio in the airwaves globally. So thank you, Eternity Ready Radio. We love you. Dominique, you want to say anything else?
Oh, gosh. Thanks, community. And keep building those bouquet of wildflowers for the bees.
Definitely. Listeners, stay inspired, stay active. Bye for now.